BJ Miller here, Palliative Care Doc. A question came in about what are some effective ways of coping with anticipatory grief. So first of all, let's define anticipatory grief. Anticipatory grief is, as it sounds, it's grief in advance or in anticipation of a loss. Not a lot of people understand that this is possible. I've seen a lot of families in my job where, you know, a spouse or a loved one finds themselves very sad that their loved one, the patient, may someday die. And so the family may be kind of down on themselves. Why aren't I soaking up every minute with mom or dad or whatever? They're still here. Why am I so sad? And it can get down on themselves or frustrated. But this is the nature of anticipatory grief. We human beings, we're not just present in time. We also have our brains take us to the past, and they also take us to the future. So anticipatory grief is common and can be very befuddling. How to cope with it? Well, first is just to acknowledge it, just like we're doing here. And by acknowledging it, you give yourself some time and space to deal with it, and you normalize it. This isn't you doing something wrong. This is nature working its magic. This is how humans play loss out. So acknowledge it, normalize it, and therefore sort of be with it. It can be helpful to realize the connection between grieving something and loving something. So one thing to do, how to cope with anticipatory grief, is to realize that the person or the thing is still with you on some level, and to find your way to either share that sorrow with them, which is a kind of presence of its own, or find your way to appreciating everything that person is to you while they're still here. You may share those appreciations, or keep them to yourself, or journal those thoughts and feelings. But one way or another, the best way to cope with anticipatory grief is to turn your attention towards it. Turn your attention towards a thing that you're afraid to lose one day. And this will allow you to soak up their presence while you have them, and to minimize your regrets, which will help you when you're actually in grief, when the loss has actually finally happened.